Hi everybody. It's Gnyp Gnop. I'm Greg Gnyp. Krasinski the Gnop. What is going on? Happy Friday the 13th.
Happy Friday the 13th, buddy.
Oh man, I didn't even remember that today was Friday the 13th.
Did you remember today was Friday?
I knew today was Friday because you called me about 16 times to make sure I was on time.
Yeah. Is Greg going to be on time?
Because everybody knows, anybody who knows me knows that there is Gnyp Standard Time, and it's usually anywhere from 10 to about 3 hours late.
Yeah.
And but you know what the thing is? I always have good intentions.
Yeah,
I'm always like, listen, I'm going to leave right on time, and then I go, squirrel.
Yeah, because good intentions are worth what exactly?
A big pile of dog
There
poop.
you go.
Something like that. So how are you, mister?
You know, I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. Today we're going to talk to a good friend of ours.
Yes.
That he's out of town, so it's going to be nice kind of catching up with Mark.
Mark McKenzie.
That's right. Yep. From
Mark McKenzie.
89X. Yeah. And so we're going to.
I was going to be like, you might have also seen him at Danny's as one of the dancers. He was known as DJ Swinging Meat.
Wow, nice.
So
That sounds like a good gig.
it was a great gig. He made a lot of dollar bills tucked in there.
Dollar.
Of course, then the worst thing was as we got into loonies and toonies, instead of making it rain, it turned into hail.
Right, and now the Olympics are over.
Yep, the Olympics are over. Canada did great.
Yes, they did. They did
The
really
best
well.
since 1984 when the entire communist bloc wasn't there. So congratulations. The Windsor area brought medals back with from the swimming pool, and then London with the decathlon.
Yes.
So it was very cool.
Yep. So all good things
cheers.
are happening. All good things are happening. What are you drinking today?
I've got a bartend again tonight, so I'm sticking with just coffee and milk.
Oh wow, Tarbender. I went to Timmy's and got a nice coffee. So I'm joining you on that.
Well, there we go. For some reason, my liver says, what is this weird stuff?
We're not
called
kicking
alcohol?
the habit by any chance, but just saying that,
But it's okay.
We'll be back
It's
next
okay.
week. We'll be back next week with something to drink for sure, everybody. You can always count on us. You can always count on us.
That's awesome. Well, should we? So what's going on with you? How's the family? Everybody good?
Everyone is absolutely wonderful. It is what it is. They've opened the borders. So for those of you who don't know, I do live on the lake, and I've been out here for years. And usually my house is kind of surrounded by Americans who have their summer cottages there. And what's happened over the last number of years is a lot of those have been sold. Canadians are moving in full time, and that's taken about 30 years to happen. But still have a lot of Americans out here. Well, I got to tell you, it's like a shitstorm of Americans in the last 2 days here. They're everywhere. And we've opened up our border to the U.S., and they must have been in line, I don't know, for a week or whatever, but they all came over. So, they're all at their lakefront cottages. So,
Well, I talked to a woman last week on the weekend, and she said, and this was also part of because of the lockdown or the work to rule campaign going on with the border guards.
right.
She said on her way home from work, 5.5 hours at the border.
Ouch.
Yeah, so she worked 9 hours and sat for 5.5.
Oh, wow. You might as well just spend the night.
I would have just slept in the middle of the tunnel.
Yeah. Get a
Try
room.
to get me out of here.
Get a room. But yeah,
Get a room.
So the Yanks are back, but we're not. In some ways I'm like, I'd love to go visit my U.S. office one of these days in this decade would be nice. But who knows? Who knows?
I have to be honest. I want to go to Kroger and Meijer. I am running out of a couple things like Dunkin' Donuts or Dunkin' Coffee and stuff like that.
And DIA. I miss the DIA, and I miss the DIA film series. I even miss the Cat Festival videos, which I know is really funny. I go every year to the DIA for the Cat Festival videos because I just love them. I think it's hilarious.
See, I like the way that you went to I Miss Culture, and I went to missing getting, snacks at Kroger.
At Myers.
You can tell who the classy guy on this show is.
Whatever. I don't think cat videos are exactly classy, but anyway.
When they're at the DIA, they are.
Yeah. Talking about classy, we have a good friend of ours, Mark McKenzie.
And of course, that would be classy with a K, and that's with classy with a K and an IE classy.
He's a Mick, not a Mac. Just remember that.
Hi, buddy. How are you?
I'm good, and I gotta say that the thing I miss most about the States as well is the food, Gnyp. So don't worry. I miss Kroger, and I miss Meijer. I miss the better made potato chips. You know.
You know what? I'll tell you this: when the border opens, I will seriously, make you a carrot package, and I still and I owe you some Gnip drip. I still and because
Yes.
I've actually started working on it again.
Gnip
Oh, beautiful.
drip.
You know, so here's the thing with his Gnyp drip. He's been, how long did we work together, Gnyp? We worked together for 13 years. And for 13 years, he said, I'm going to get you Gnyp drip. I'm going to work on it. And again, it's been 14 years now, I think. And
Yeah, but just think how good it's going to be while you're in Winnipeg.
And
You're going to be like, look at that. It's tasty with the caribou.
so what is Gnip drip for those who are just asking?
So when I owned Terracotta, when I owned the pizza place, we were going to make a sauce for the pizza.
Oh.
And it turned out exactly opposite to what I thought it was going to be, but I'm too cheap to throw anything away. So I said, I can make this hot sauce. And added this, added that, added in some, chilies and added in some garlic and honey. And then I went, I'm going to add this one spice and I can't tell anybody what it is because that's part of the treat. That's right.
No, it's not herbe de Provence, is it?
No. It tastes a little bit like outre. No, sorry, bad Simpsons quote. But it also we went like this, and we went, oh my God, this sauce turns out perfect, and it became so Terracotta used to have up to 50 hot sauces for sale at any one time.
Wow.
But Gnip drip was the homemade sauce, and it became kind of like a weird little cult classic. It even had my face on it for a while. Yeah, it was just not pretty.
Ew.
No, they got rid of that quickly because they realized that was hurting sales. So.
Yeah.
The health
I'd
unit.
like to
it was-
open up
it
the
was the
fridge
best
and see
because it was
Greg
like
Gnip.
the perfect combination of heat and sweetness, and like it's so good. It's so good. I still go there and buy the bottles. Of it
Really?
Because
Yeah, it was truly
I've been
made-
waiting so many years for Greg to get me, a stash, and so I just got to buy it from the place.
Yeah,
but I feel
yeah.
like there's just something missing.
Hey,
It's still not
but you know what?
the same
I
as when
believe
Greg
though.
made it.
But see, I believe in supporting the local small town businesses.
Yeah.
See, that's what I was doing. Okay, I was just lazy.
But I think the real issue is that the health unit is probably pretty happy he's not making it anymore.
Well, that too. In his bathtub.
I don't know what you mean.
Wooden spoon.
With his feet.
Yeah. Hey, man, the best wine comes from people who squish those grapes with their feet. So.
Sure.
Hey,
Yeah.
you ask any Italian, they'll tell you that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Mark's joining us from where? And I think it's important that some local people don't know where you've gone.
No. So some people may not know. Me and Greg and a dozen other people were unfortunately let go back in November of 2020 due to changing market conditions and format changes. So, I hung around Windsor for a while because Windsor is home. My family is there.
Hold on a
city.
sec. Bell's cheap. Excuse me.
But it was tough to find a job. Like it really was, especially during COVID. So I was offered a position at another legendary station, 92.1 City in Winnipeg, and I took the gig. So I've been living in Winnipeg since April. Doing afternoons at 92.1 City, which is a station that's been around for like 40 years. It's pretty legendary. So yes, I am living in Winnipeg, which a lot of people call Winterpeg, but
Really?
It is summer. Although the funny thing is, so it's August, and yesterday it was 17 Celsius here. I was wearing a hoodie.
No.
It was great. Like, I love it. I'm like, this is it. Like, no, and I heard Windsor was like 33 plus humidity. Yeah, there's like no humidity here either. So, I'll take the summers, but I'm not looking forward to the winters. I'll tell you that.
Wow.
Yeah.
17 degrees. And in the winters, you got to bring your own electrical cord to plug your car in.
Yeah. So there's plugs everywhere. Like, you go to Walmart and there's places to plug your car in. It's funny. You know what? So for everybody always says, oh, Windsor's got more Tim Hortons per capita than any other city, right? I honestly think it's true. There's
Seriously?
Sure, there's Tim Hortons here, but nothing like Windsor. Like I even said to my wife when her and my son came to visit a couple weeks ago, and I was like, don't you notice, like, there's not as many Tim Hortons. Like, Windsor has more Tim Hortons than Winnipeg, which is more than double the population of Windsor. It's like triple the population of Windsor here. So that, I believe that is true, that Windsor probably actually does have more Tim Hortons per capita than any other city.
But you guys win on the black flies. We'll give you those.
Yeah.
The black flies are pretty bad. They're pretty bad. What do they call? There's a name. Oh, what do they call? There's a name for them. My wife is probably screaming at me right now.
Manitoba crows.
No. You know what else is weird? There's a weird smell from the aphids here. So they hang out like in the trees and then they poop a lot, and so you have the smell of aphid poop throughout the entire city, which is very strange and not good.
Dude, why aren't you doing their tourism ads?
Come to
But no, you know what? One thing I
Smell our
will
poop.
say, the whole friendly Manitoba thing,
Yeah.
100% accurate.
Yeah.
Like the kindest people you will ever meet. Maybe the only city that may be similar is Windsor, obviously, because Windsor is so generous, right?
Yeah.
With local charities and just people being, helping their neighbors. But yeah, like I cannot believe how friendly people are, especially for a big city, right? Like realistically, Windsor is still, a small to medium-sized city. Winnipeg's one of the bigger cities in Canada, and people are so nice. Like nobody locks their doors, and they help everybody out. It's pretty cool. Like it's nice actually living in Canada,
Yeah, right.
because Windsor's so Americanized. It's cool
Right.
to see. And I've lived in Thunder Bay and Sudbury and PEI, but I think I just kind of forgot, like, the accents and the slang and the kindness. It's so that's all cool. It's a really good city. And, I visited last summer, kind of just drove through.
Yep.
And now that even, again, my wife and son came for a couple of weeks, and even they were like, wow, like this is a great city. I describe it as almost a bigger Windsor, really.
Yeah.
It really is. It's just a bigger Windsor with some more amenities. But
Little colder.
and a little colder.
A little colder. and do they think you have an American accent?
Well, people know I'm not from here, obviously.
Right.
They could tell by the way I talk, yes. And I still have my Ontario plates on my car, so that's kind of a dead giveaway too, but
Contraband. Sorry.
Yeah.
So when you actually switch over to your Manitoba license plates, is it going to be like the from the movie Freaks, Gooble gobble, one of us, and they all get together and cheer for you?
I'm not switching over. I'm keeping those Ontario plates.
That's right. Try to arrest me. That's awesome.
I paid for 2 years for those plates, and I'm getting all 2 years out of them.
Yeah. So attention, Manitoba constabulary.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout for. Anyway.
And it's a huge process. It's all government insurance here. So it's not like I can just go to my insurance company and be like, hey, now I live here. Like, no, you got to cancel your insurance and then go with the government insurance. And then if you do move back to Ontario, which realistically, Windsor's home, I do want to get back to Windsor.
Yeah.
It's a huge process. Then it's like, oh, well, now you haven't had insurance for a year. But it's like, but no, I did. It's like, oh, but we don't count the government insurance. Like, that doesn't count. One of my friends had to deal with that with BC because the same thing. And they're like, well, you haven't had insurance for 2 years. He's like, well, yeah, I did. I had government, that's how it's run. It's all through the government. Oh, yeah, no, that doesn't count.
That's so weird. That's so
yeah.
weird.
Welcome
how insurance is a scam?
Yeah. Talking with the Americans coming back to Canada, I was talking to the Americans last night who had a cottage, and they said their insurance got canceled while they're away after 46 years of being insured in the same company here in Canada for their insurance because they had 2 minor claims while they're away. Tree fell on their house. Not a big deal. But anyway,
we don't even get me going about my insurance issues.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's a whole.
That we could spend hours on that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
so I'm in Winnipeg, and I don't really have friends here because I don't really know anybody. I go to work, I come home, and I've actually been like watching things that I should have probably watched 20 years ago.
Yes.
And so I started watching some Friends episodes. I'm going to start Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I watched Die Hard.
Yes.
For the first time ever.
And?
What do you mean? You've never seen Die Hard?
Let me just time out for a second, and I know this is probably breaking every single rule in the world, but ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble. Go. Sorry.
You've lost
I got to
your
wait
mind.
Michael Buffer to say that, right?
Okay, but go ahead. I want to hear what Mark has to say about Die Hard, The
Oh,
movie.
you want to know? Oh,
I would
dude,
love to know.
But like the most overrated film of all time. Like, I'm like, seriously? Like, people go on and on about this being such an incredible film, and I'm like, did I watch the same movie? Like, but at the same time, I then did watch all of them because I'm like, well, now I'm invested. I got to watch them all. So I watched all 5.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So I will say. So here's the deal. So
yeah, Mark,
if you want, I'll give you a whole rundown of my opinion on all of them. The first one.
Oh, sure. So let's talk about the first one.
Let's talk about the first one because really the best part was Alan Rickman. As Hans Gruber, and that's the only thing that saved that film.
Well, first off, that was his movie debut. Right,
and he's great. And that's what I mean. Like, and he's still amazing. Like,
he's dead, but he's amazing. But so look, the other thing you need to understand about this movie was this was the first time that real action adventure kind of hero was really kind of merged with comical relief.
Right.
The first time, right? Because at that same time, you know, Rambo, like you had that type of action. So this was really, and I read an article this morning about it that I thought was really interesting, that Frank Sinatra was originally cast in the movie at 70 years old. So imagine what a shit show that would have been. So anyway, Bruce Willis really saved the movie, and you know, the whole, you know, looking back at the camera kind of stuff. I mean, that was never around. So that's why this movie is so epic, and it's so Christmas too. But go ahead, let's hear what you have to say.
The storyline though is not good. And then I'm supposed to believe that Carl Winslow, first off, is an actual cop, and then just that storyline between McClane and Carl Winslow was kind of lame too.
Twinkies, man. It's about the Twinkies. It's about the freaking Twinkies.
So the first one, and look, I should probably throw this out there as well. I think Bruce Willis is one of the most overrated actors of our generation. So, you know, there's that as well. But I say the same thing about Denzel Washington. I think he's a very overrated actor. So, there's a lot. There's a lot of it.
That's what you get. You get Bruce Willis Mark, looking back at you, my friend.
And so I got to jump into it just really quick because I've got to be honest. I watched Die Hard for the very first time probably 3 weeks before you up in Toronto with my sister and my brother-in-law, and I seriously I got the movie. I did. I went, okay, I can understand. It's kind of funny. There were some parts, but I went, people watch this year after year after year.
Every goddamn year.
And Chris and his wife, Deborah, you do it on what, Christmas Eve, right?
No. We start our Christmas season kind of like in November, you know, with Die Hard. And we actually go through all the movies as well, Mark. Every year.
Yeah.
So, you know, look at. Let me tell you how big of a fan my wife is of the Die Hard movies.
Okay.
About 5 years ago, I purchased for her the Nakatomi Tower edition Blu-ray. Hey, don't roll your eyes. Of this. I'm serious. Like that's how big of a fans we are, right? Like you've got a helipad on top, and the CDs go in the back, right? So, or the DVDs go in the back. So, you know, for us, it just kind of starts off the Christmas, the entire Christmas season with Die Hard because it's a Christmas movie, and it has been a Christmas movie ever since it came out.
I will say yes. I will say it is a Christmas movie.
Thank
for
you.
Those who, you know, I'll toss that out there.
Yeah, look, I can argue with you guys all day long that Die Hard is more of a Christmas movie than White Christmas and Bing Crosby.
This I want to hear. This I do want to hear.
Okay.
If you don't mind me just jumping in there, I want to know how this is more of a Christmas movie.
All right, Gnip. All right. So this was posted.
Oh my God!
This was posted by D'Souza, who is actually the guy who wrote the screenplay and wrote the story of Die Hard. So first off, Die Hard entirely takes place on like Christmas Eve. Okay, whereas White Christmas was only the first and final scenes were on Christmas. The other thing was it's set at a Christmas party entirely, and there's like cocaine on the table, like it's a real party going on. So don't tell me
it's a party if there's cocaine on the table.
That's right, and it's in Los Angeles. And everyone's calling each other babe and booby. You know, come on. So hey, look, and there's a bunch of Christmas songs in it, right? Like Let It Snow, Winter Wonderland. There's only one Christmas song in White Christmas, and you know what? Like there's a whole bunch of things, right? I mean, there's a German ringleader who's a bad guy. One's Hitler, by the way, and the other one's Hans Gruber. So, I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of correlations here, but you know what? Dude, it's totally a Christmas movie.
I agree. It is a Christmas movie.
Thank you.
I will say that, but to rewatch it every Christmas, and then to rewatch all of them. Like, I don't know how you sit through Die Hard 2.
Right,
because
I don't.
That one's worse than the first.
No, it's a horrible. It's the worst one. Yeah, it is bad. Number 2's bad. You know, the one, but it is. But that's a Christmas movie too, because the guy who kills it is Franz. He kills that the second movie because he does that whole New York shtick that he always did. He's a horrible actor. But in Die Hard 2. That's usually when I open up my bottle of Evan Williams eggnog, and that's how I get through that movie. But you know what, Die
Hard with a Vengeance,
awesome.
That one, the best out of the first 3.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, that's it. Samuel L. Jackson and Jeremy Irons make that film.
Yes, right? Yeah, they do.
So, and I thought here's my issue with that one though is the ending, where I think that could have been better thought out. You know, they go to Canada, and it's like. So wait a minute. First off, there's no way the RCMP would ever let just some American cop come over and start taking control. So I'll throw that out. The RCMP, you give them a call, they'll take care of everything. But then it's also like now he's back in New York City and he's divorced, and it takes a while to even figure all of that out. And that's what I find about a lot of the Die Hard movies. They kind of they throw you in there, and it's like, wait, what's happening here? It takes a minute to figure out what the hell is happening.
It's a part of the ride, Mark. It's a part of the ride. So there's also Live Free and Die Hard, which is the cyber attack one, which I really do like.
The best one.
I like that one. Yeah. That's with the Mac kid. I can't remember. I can never remember his name.
Justin Long.
There you go.
Timothy Olyphant, who I am a big fan of Timothy Olyphant, and I like Justin Long as well. I thought that is. I would put that one as the best Die Hard. Just because they bring in the modern technology, and the hacking and all of that, and at least it seems realistic, especially nowadays. You know, I think it holds up because it's like all of that could still happen. Right? Well, think about was it the gas lines or whatever that were hacked? You know,
sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. And then of course the last one I think was just a contractual obligation.
Oh, that one's horrible. And now they're talking about making another one to kind of make up for A Good Day to Die Hard. But then I've also heard they may do like a mini series type thing with Hulu. So I don't know. But if I was to rank them, I would put Live Free or Die Hard as the best, followed by Die Hard with a Vengeance. And then I'd probably go the first Die Hard, in third. Then I would go probably A Good Day to Die. See, I go back and forth between Die Hard 2 and A Good Day to Die Hard. They're both equally bad. But I think I'd probably put Die Hard 2 at the bottom. If I had to.
But with all due respect, they give, there's a great reverence given to the way they write their villains in the stories, and the villains traditionally are very, very good, except for 2, and he really sucked. But anyway, look at and there's no doubt that we do watch them every year, and they hold a special place because it's like watching old movies, right? And people go, "Oh, how can you watch old movies?" They were something unique at that point in time. And you have to understand the everything around it, the environment around it back in '88 when Die Hard was released. So,
sure. And if I watched it first off, I mean, my parents
were you even born in '88?
I was. Well, yeah, I was 5 years old. So that's I was going to say if my parents let me watch it at that age, there's something wrong with them. But again, even if I would have seen it in the '90s, maybe I would have felt different, right?
Maybe.
So
you would have been a Terminator fan. That's what you would have been.
But you know what? There's old movies though that still hold up. Like I watched The Goonies, and I'm like, still holds up. Great film from the '80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
The Burbs, another great film that still holds up. The Crazy Neighbors. Are they murders? You're peeking out. You're looking. You got the other neighbors up on the roof.
Yep.
It's
yeah. Look. One of my favorite.
I'm so
movies.
glad nobody's throwing out like Porky's.
No.
Orphans holds up really well
Doesn't
too.
hold up. You know, like,
These are the movies Gnyp watches is Porky's and Revenge of the Nerds. Although I do love Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah. So
too, but,
yesterday was a really special game from the MLB Field of Dreams.
Yes.
A baseball game, which was a field that they constructed near the Field of Dreams, where the movie took place
If you
in Iowa.
They will come.
Yeah, and it is one of
I've
my.
never seen the movie, so I have no idea.
Okay, one of my all-time favorite movies. I watch it every Father's Day with my kids, and it is an absolutely amazing gem of a movie.
It is 32 years old.
As sports movies go, it's that The Natural, like are kind of always voted as the top sports movies of all time.
The Natural?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway.
What about The Program? That's a good one.
I've never seen that one. I haven't gotten with The Program, Mark. Sorry. Anyway, that's a movie that you really got to see. You got to get into, and you know what? It holds up. It's wonderful. I love watching.
Who's in that movie?
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
But here's the crazy. But here's the crazy.
It was before
part
Waterworld.
But here's the crazy part of the movie or the game yesterday. White Sox, Yankees, 9-8. It was Chicago. Tickets. There were only about 8,200 tickets to be able to go see this game at this special place.
Right.
Resale tickets were ranging in the price of about $14,000. People were paying $14,000 a ticket to go watch that game.
It was pretty magical because as soon as it went out of bounds, it was corn.
Yeah,
and it was
really?
it was pretty magical. Anyway, you got to see the movie, then you'll understand it.
I'll watch the movie, even though it's Kevin Costner and he's the most. He's another actor that's very overrated, and I think I actually read something to say that like the amount that he made, like you lose money when you have Kevin Costner in one of your movies because he demands so much, right? And you never make that money back. But I will watch it. And all I know, I just kind of saw it in the news today, something about Field of Dreams, and then they said there's going to be another one. So it looks as though MLB's already talking about doing it.
Correct. The commissioner's already okayed and greenlight next year for that.
If there's money to be made, they will continue to do it.
Absolutely.
So.
That's right.
Good for them. Great seeing you, man.
You as well. Good to see both of you. And next time we will have some adult beverages.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to check in with the aphid poop with you again in the next couple of weeks.
Please do, and we'll reminisce about the 89X days.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Let's talk music. Let's do this in the next couple of weeks, and let's talk music and how music has changed over the last. Well, I mean, I've been in radio I was in radio for 30 years. I've seen some big changes. You were in radio for how long? You've been
17 years, I think, total.
Yeah, You've seen some big changes. Let's talk music in a couple of weeks.
And I've worked for all the big companies in Canada, pretty much, except one. So
awesome.
I'd love to, and hopefully, hopefully I'll be back in Windsor soon, and we can kind of just maybe we could do it in person.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Next couple of weeks, we'll sit down. We'll talk about 89X. Sounds great. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for joining us today. Mark McKenzie from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Good seeing you, buddy.
You as well.
Oh, yeah. He's such a good guy. Such a good guy. Nice to hear his voice again, eh?
Yeah.
Eh?
I used to, he's one of those kind of guys that always made me laugh on the radio.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Always a good guy. Always a great community guy, too.
Yep.
Well, Mr. Gnip.
A pleasure. Always fun with you, sir.
Quickly, how's bartending?
It's been great. It's been fun. Karma tonight it's on Riverside Drive. I'll be there from 5 to 11.
Ooh, great. So don't forget you can consume this on Facebook, on YouTube, and then on audio, basically everywhere that you consume your podcasts. This is Chris Uzinski saying we'll see you next week on Gnyp Gnop.